Hello, Lifeline family. I, first of all, I want to apologize for not posting for a while. I have been dealing with a lot, and for that, I apologize. But I thought that this video, I would tell my story of living with depression. And give some tools that I've used that would help somebody live with depression a little bit. My story starts off when I was very, very young. About 8 or 9, maybe 10. We all know how kids are at that age. They're just starting to explore their personalities, explore their wants, and all that. I wasn't allowed to do that. I was basically broken at around that age. And up until now. And every time I've tried to improve my mental health, tried to improve my mood, I get negative comments about how I'm abusive, how my actions for finally focusing on myself, trying to be a better person, affects other people. I've gotten low. I almost committed suicide last August, a year ago. Let me tell you that story. A few days before my 41st birthday, I had one of the worst seizures I've ever had. For those of you who don't know, I have epilepsy. I have two kinds of seizures: myoclonic and grand mal. And I don't remember much for that day. All I remember was feeling weird, and I wanted to go lay down. And next thing I know, I'm waking up several hours later in the emergency room of a local hospital with medical personnel freaking out that I'm coming to. And I was in the hospital for 3 days. That in my state where I live, they have a rule that you can't drive for 3 months afterwards. For 6 months afterwards. And if you have one after that the clock starts over. And I immediately crashed. I was at the bottom, trying to find a way to where I can crawl out. But it just got worse. and worse and worse and worse. Till the point of last August. But before I go any further, up until this point, I had tried my best to deal with this by myself. To focus on my faith, to focus on stuff that made me happy, and avoiding what was really bugging me, avoiding the cause of my depression. But anyway, it all started to pile up. Then last August, I was waiting for my ride. Called, never showed. Called my wife, never answered. And where I worked at the time was 9 miles away. So I started to walk home. As I was walking, I seen a train. It passed, and then I had this thought come in my head. You know, if you stepped out in front of the train, nobody ever miss you. Because they're better off without you. All these negative thoughts came flooding it through my mind. Along with that, I seen another train. And I started to walk up to do it. Something stopped me. Everything that is good came into my life, came into my head. All my blessings that I've been given. And these words came into my head saying that God's not done with me yet. That I need to keep going. So I walked out back to the road and continued on. To make a long story short, somebody pulled over, picked me up, and gave me a ride home. But that's my message for this part of this video. Those of you who are going through this, like I am, you can't do this alone. Believe me, I've tried. And it's okay to reach out and get help. Because that's what I did. I'm getting help. But above all, keep going. And I know it's a fight. Believe me. I fight these monsters up here every day. Everything that happens, every bad thing that happens, every setback that happens, those thoughts go through my head again. Those monsters scream louder and louder and louder. Just like I know that they do for you. And to those of you who have people in their life who suffer from this, I make this one plea. Be patient with them. And realize that it takes a lot of energy just for them to do the basic stuff. Because of all the energy that they are spending keeping fighting these monsters in their head and keeping them quiet long enough for them to do what they need to do. Be there. Be truly there. Help them forget all that they're going through. Help them to forget those monsters. Encourage them to go get help and continue in the help. Now, what does it look like somebody who's going through depression? Well, when they're around other people, don't seem normal, even happy. They will go out of their way to make others feel better about themselves. Because they don't want them to experience what they're going through. What it feels like to feel totally and completely worthless. To believe that no matter what you do, things will never get better. To believe that nothing you say matters. They don't want you to feel that. So instead, they much rather feel it themselves behind closed doors. And make sure that you're the best that you can be. That's what it looks like. Now, keep tuned in for this series. And can somebody with depression have an effective career or go after new things? I like to think so, but it's damn hard for them. Like with me, I have all these ideas to execute stuff that could bring me and my family a lot of money. But the actual follow through with it, I can't. Because the monsters in my head, the demons in my head, the thoughts that were implanted in me as a child will not let me. And that's what I'm fighting to change in myself. So again, be patient. Be there in their lives. Help them through what they're going through. And we'll see you next time for part 2.